Y'all, these girls just stressed Aubrey out so bad she had to flee the countryside. Aubrey is gone, girl. Aubrey said, buy wigs, buy wigs. But the question is, with Aubrey out of the picture, will that reduce some of the drama in the house? Somehow, I don't think so. And we're going to get into why I believe that's the case in just 1 second. But before we do that, y'all get into this intro. What's going on, Skye Squad? We are back in the building. Oh, yes, your boy is back. And guess who feeling a little better today? Okay, I made it to the gym today, y'all. Let me tell you, I had thrown my back out while I was in Puerto Vallarta. And your boy had gotten all kinds of sick on the way back. You know, sinus infection type things. But guess who's back in the mother is out? Okay, your boy is back. Shout out to all of y'all in the chatterization. We're going to be talking about BET Presents the Encore. We're going to talk about last week's episode. I decided to wait till today to do it because we got to prepare for tonight, okay? And in preparation for tonight, I got a little tea for y'all about tonight's episode. So you're going to want to, just wait around for that. I'm going to give it to you. Don't worry about that. And we're going to get into this past week's episode and exactly what went down when Aubrey left the house, when Felisha got into it with Kosine. So we're going to get into all of that. But first, I got to know what my people are watching in the chatterization. Let me see. I see we got Kenya in the house, okay? Thank you. I'm glad I'm feeling better myself, okay? Gone Girl is the title of the name. It's the title of the name, okay? Minnesota's in the house. Come on, who else is up in here? California, NOLA, Memphis, Hillside, ATL, always in the his not E. Waldorf, Maryland, right down the street. Miss Hollywood, I feel you, okay? What I took for my sinuses and what I typically do when I get a sinus infection like that is I use a neti pot or a nasal rinse. You get you some water and some saline solution and you squirt it up your nose and let it drip down the other side. You do that about 2-3 times a day. You'll be better in no time. That's what I does. Okay. Baltimore is in the house. Louisville, Kentucky. We got Nashville, South Africa. Hey, Namibia, Queens. What Keely needs to come out with a PJ line and her own wine. Come on, Keely, if you're watching, you better be listening to your people out here giving you some good advice, okay? We got, Bolingbrook in the house. Come on, Chicago, Newark, New Jersey. Dallas, Texas, the Bronx, Charlotte, North Carolina, West Virginia, Brooklyn, Fort Lauderdale. I see you. All right, y'all. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what y'all rating this past episode? I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10. And let me tell you why. I'm giving it a 10 because we got some nostalgia. We got 702, the complete group in the house, okay? We got Kima from Total. We got Brandy from Black. And we got some other people that we don't really know that well. I mean, at least I don't know that well. But I'm sure if you work in the music industry, those are some people that you may know very well. And I have worked slightly within the music industry when I was in LA, but not to that degree. Okay. So for me, I liked all of that. I was finally waiting for Aubrey to leave, although that departure was rather lackluster. And I was actually interested in hearing all of the songs and seeing the reactions of the people. And we got some good old tea and backstory on Total. Okay, so we're going to talk about all that. All right. Let's see what y'all rated the episode. Okay, I see we got a 9, we got 10, 10, 10. Oh, hey. Come on now. We got a 9. 10s across the board. I see y'all. Oh, it was Jazzy Faye was there too. He was there. Okay, call out everybody you knew. Okay. Who else was there? You know what? I was shocked that not even Shannon from Danity Kane had showed up because, Shannon and Aubrey had done the group Dumb Blonde, which I still listen to this day. Okay, You Got Me is one of my favorite songs. If you know, you know. Okay. 10.5, 10, a good 8.5, and 11. I see y'all. Y'all was up in that thing just like I was. Okay. Hey, welcome to the live, Imani. Welcome to the live. Ronnie DeVoe was in there, his naive. How could I forget about that? Because he brought flowers and everything for his wife. He came and showed up and showed out. Okay. Y'all want a little bit of tea before we get into it? Y'all want a little bit of tea about this episode? Now, it ain't, I'm going to give you, okay, let's talk about it. Let me give you the tea real quick. Okay. So Keely posted on her Instagram, she said, this episode is going to hurt, along with a little bitty teaser trailer about the episode, okay? Now, when I put my pieces together, okay, to be Black Native, my bad, boo. Shout out to Phoenix in his naive. I'm trying to make it out to Arizona as well, okay? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to give you a little bit more. So Keely says that it's going to hurt, but look over here at our friends over at thatgrapejuice.net. Shout out to thatgrapejuice.net because I have been following their site for honestly, over 10 years now. It's been at least 10 years. And I followed them ever since I was following Concrete Loop. Shout out to anybody who is in the chat if y'all remember Concrete Loop. It was a blog site that came out with all the urban news and entertainment. This was one of the first blog sites that I was ever following. Shout out if y'all remember Concrete Loop, and shout out to thatgrapejuice.net as well. Okay. So anyway, in the preview for tonight's episode, we about to get Pam doing the pop off on what looks to be Keely and Felisha and Fallon because she has finally had enough. Now, yes, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, exactly. Hey, Von Plans. So yes, we got Pam is popping off. Now I will show you the clip, but for real, those clips don't belong to me, but I will tell you what happened. Pam has had enough. Apparently Keely has said something, and Pam is over the little jabs and things that Keely is throwing, especially saying that the girls are supposed to be supporting and following everything that Felisha and Fallon is saying. So we're gonna have to see how it's playing out tonight. But that little clip alone, I'm gonna put the link down in the description down below. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the link right in the queue right now. I'm gonna put it in the queue right now, just so you guys have it. But we're going to see Pam popping off for the first time. And this episode alone, we got a lot more information about Pam and her time up in total. But we're going to get to that in just 1 second. Because, it's very interesting to view a person through our own lens. But it's even more interesting to view a person through the lens of their group members. Okay? So let's get into it. The episode begins with Keely explaining how girl groups tend to devolve. And she goes through all of these things about the infighting, about how girl groups just cannot stay together and how they cannot get along. So we start the day off with Pam and Misha in the kitchen, and they're getting along. And Misha apologizes for getting at Pam for leaving the room during the group argument from the night before. Okay. I don't remember this part of the episode, to be quite honest with you, from the prior week episode. I don't remember Misha getting at Pam, but maybe she did. Okay. I just remember Pam leaving. Okay. But shout out to y'all if y'all remember Misha and Pam going at it, because I only saw it this episode in the flashback. Felisha thinks that Misha has essentially rage and regret. That is where someone basically goes off on everybody, and then 2 minutes later, they end up regretting it and having to apologize. Okay. So, okay, they didn't show it. That's what I thought. They didn't show it. I thought it was just me. So, Carlos, I'm gonna have to let y'all know, y'all didn't give us that in the previous episode, so we didn't see that moment, but we seeing the after effects of it. So y'all gonna have to go back and fix that, in the post edits. Okay. For for just for continuity's sake. Okay. Aubrey asked if Pam thinks that both members of Total will come because they haven't seen each other in 4 years. And we learned that she just cut those girls off. She cut everybody off 4 years ago, okay? Which is interesting to me. And we learned later that even her family was confused by this, because let me tell y'all something. These legacy acts, and I call Total a legacy act because they've been around for a very long time, but their hits are still relevant, okay? Kissing You is still, that could still be playing on rotation, okay? But my thing is, for legacy acts, they can still make a lot of money touring. In Vogue has never stopped touring. They have been touring and touring and touring and making that guap, okay? Because they know what the assignment is, and they know how to make it do what it do enough to get along. And they kicked the girls to the curb that could not get along, okay? So Kima, when she comes in, I'm sure Kima thinking to herself, we could be out there making this guap too, but Pam, you acting funny, okay? But we're going to get to that in a second because I got a lot to say about it, all right? Aubrey doesn't think any of her group members will come and laments about how many hits she takes in the media for a lot of things. Now, granted, when we watched the show back in the day with Danity Kane, Aubrey was always seemingly off doing her own thing on Broadway, and she kind of seemed sometimes not interested in doing the group thing and more interested in doing her own separate thing. That was the impression that I always got from the outside looking in. And I don't know what the situation was like on the inside, but I'm just going to tell you what it looked like from the outside. Then when Danity Kane did get back together, it seemed like they just still couldn't get it together enough to make a good run of it, because her and that good Dawn Richards had got to fighting or something like that, or Dawn had grabbed her hair. I don't know what the case was, but something happened and they couldn't get along. So then it was just her and Shannon on the move, and they was doing their thing with Dumb Blonde, and I was really a fan of it. Then next thing you know, Aubrey and Dawn doing something together, but that don't last very long. So I don't know what the problem is with Aubrey, and I don't know what hits she's taken, because ultimately everything that she has taken is really falling back on her. From her stints on reality TV to all of the very obvious, surgical or non-surgical or whatever type of enhancement she is doing to her body, it is those things that are making people talk. And y'all know I am very much one for doing what you want to do, get as much plastic surgery as you want to, fill up your face fatter than a tire if you want to. I don't care, because I'm all about doing what makes you happy. But when it's so noticeable that it makes you look dramatically different, you cannot blame people for talking about the differences between your face then and your face now. And that's just it. It just is what it is. There are some people who like a very subtle difference, and then there are some people who like a very drastic difference. And Aubrey continues to give us drastic difference. But now she gone, girl, so we don't know what she looked like. Anyway, Aubrey also doesn't believe that they're pulling out their best music, and she's tired of taking more hits at the hands of the twins. Now, I will admit, she is taking a lot from the twins, okay? Pam just tries to encourage her because Pam is carrying her Bible, and she know the word of the Lord, and she know what to say to encourage the girls, okay? Sita then calls everybody into the room, okay? Everybody is looking real good because they dressed and prepared for the listening party. Thank you, LaTanya Alexander, for that super chat. I appreciate you, love. Now say what now? Oh Lord. Sita calls everybody into the room, and Sita has invited a few people who have worked with each woman in their early careers. Felisha wants to reshift her focus from all the organ to the music to prep for this listening session. Let's see how long that lasts, okay? Misha says if the songs don't come out correct, it's on the twins because they made it a point to do everything. Now, that is a very interesting point, okay? It's a very interesting point. It feels a little lazy, but it is an interesting point. And I say it feels lazy because you two have a hand in what's going on here, and you two have a hand in having a say about how the finished product comes out. Whether you are heard or not, you have a say in it, okay? But then to put it all on the twins, when you've been fighting with the twins all along, it's just a double-edged sword, if you ask me, okay? They decide to get together to determine what order they want the songs in. And you know, they can't never get along or nothing. They realize that Kosine, who is the producer, has the stems for Go, Don't Leave on his Pro Tools. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, when you were doing recording sessions, this is everybody has had this problem once, twice, or three times the lady. When you are in the studio, if you are recording in Pro Tools or some other, program or whatever it may be, when you save the stems, you're basically saving all of the files in one place. And some people will save them on their Pro Tools, on their computer. Or some people, if you're very smart, if you're the artist, you will bring your own hard drive and your own disk drive so that you can save those stems for yourself. So while they are saying that it is a rookie mistake that Kosine took the stems, it's also a rookie mistake on their end, because what they should have done was every night they should be transferring those files to their own hard drive so that they can do the work. Now, what happened in between there, I don't know, but they can't blame all of that on Kosine, because what you learn as an artist in the recording studio is that you are also responsible for your stems. Okay, that's that. Fallon, like I said, Fallon thinks it's a rookie mistake, and now they have turned. And I wrote in my notes, now they done turned on Kosine because they like Felisha's version of Bird's Eye View better than his. The rest of the ladies also like Felisha's version better than Kosine's. And they are all frustrated now with Kosine. It seems like, I'm gonna tell you what I think in a second, but Misha, Brandy, Camila, Brandy, and Kima all show up from 702 Black and Total because it's time for the listening session. Ronnie DeVoe shows up. Aubrey believes that when she was the queen, knew what needed to be done for 5 different women with different voices when she was in Danity Kane. Thus, she feels like she knows what needs to be done in this group. My problem with Aubrey, and this is my biggest issue with her, is Aubrey comes to the table with great ideas, but Aubrey lacks the ability to execute, because when it's time to actually fulfill her responsibilities as queen, she decided to, again, become Gone Girl and disappear. So to me, I don't have any empathy for Aubrey and the state that she is in with regards to this production, because it was her decision to, when she became queen, step back and let the chips fall where they may. She took no control. She didn't feel like fighting for it. So at this point, she is what she is. I don't have no sympathy for that. Kima finally confronts Pam, okay, about blocking her. And she embraces Pam and tells her that she loves her and that she just wanted to check on her and that she cares about her more than she cared about the group total. I like Kima, okay? I like Kima. And I feel like Kima came with an agenda. 2 parts. I think she wanted to support Pam. I do believe she was correct on that. I do believe that was authentic. But I also think that she wanted to try to tell Pam, listen, girl, we could be out here making this money too in total. What you doing out here with these girls? We already a super group. Well, we're going to get to that in a minute, okay? The other members of Cherish don't show up, which is kind of surprising, but not surprising, because if they treat them other girls like they treat these girls, whew, I'm not surprised those other girls did not show up. Keely starts the listening session off with skeletons, and the guys are like, hold up, y'all stop, because ain't nobody moving, okay? So what they want is they want the girls to sell it. So what that means is lip sync for your life, okay? So that means that the guys and the people who are in the audience want the artists, the singers, to sell them on it. They want them to get into it and jam and gyrate to their own music. And to be quite honest with you, I felt like that was some very good advice, because it's a big difference when you listening to a song and everybody just sitting in the room quiet than when you listening into the song and everybody who did the song is jamming. Okay, because that's going to make me jam too. Even if I didn't think it was jam worthy before, I'm a jam now because I want to jam with you too. You know, jamming is contagious. You know what I'm saying? So that was some really good advice, and I appreciated that. Okay. But they did have to lip sync because you didn't hear not one lick of a note come out of nobody's mouth. Okay. So, they get into it to indicate who's singing what parts. California Cutie, thank you for the super chat. Says, just sending some love, Richie. Happy you're feeling better. I'm happy too, baby. I'm happy too. Okay. Aubrey is not feeling it, and she feels that the twins want to be the Beyonce on the track. Beyonce comes up twice in this episode. This is just the first time. Okay. They get into God Only Knows, and Nivea comments about how Aubrey isn't committed to the performance and is making, nasty faces. Irish also notices that Aubrey is questioning her value in the group. But I agree with Nivea when Nivea says, what you do in this situation is you push through. Listen, I understand that Aubrey wants the best product, okay? But y'all only got a month, and y'all spent half of the month arguing. At this point, just take what you can get. This ain't that bad. It don't sound that bad, to be honest with you. Yes, the songs may not be finalized, but that's what you do when you in a group. You have to sacrifice a little bit of what you want in order to do what's necessary for the betterment of the group. And at this point in time, what your job is to try to just sell these songs for as much as possible, and then know in the back of your mind is things that need to be worked on and need to be fixed. You got to be a team player. You got to be a team player in order to be a good leader. But you cannot be a good leader unless you have first learned how to be a team player, because that's when you learn how to lead. Okay. So anyway, they get to talking, and for some reason, Irish is embarrassed. Now, I guess Irish is embarrassed because we figure out later on that she only had 4 lines, I guess, in the whole process of doing the lip sync. But everyone is noticing that Aubrey is oddly checked out. Okay. Now we get a moment where Mila really gives 702 and her sisters Irish and Misha some props. Okay. They get to Bird's Eye View and they get great feedback. Aubrey feels like no one is being used to their fullest potential and they haven't developed a group sound. And at this point, Aubrey, you are really getting on my nerves. Okay. It is not going to be perfection, given that you guys only have a month to do this. It's not going to be perfection. Again, sometimes it's better to be, to get it done versus it being perfect, because you can get it perfect later when it's time to give it to the public for consumption. By the time I download it, I do expect for it to be perfect, okay? And Carlos did tell me that I was going to be able to download this, so I'm holding him to his word, because at the end of the season, I want my Bird Eye View, I want God Only Knows, I want what else? Talking, I want Go Don't Leave, I want all my songs, okay? Kima and Pam have a moment together, and this is where things get juicy, okay? She asked Pam, okay, how did you get here, Pam, after you done shut the door on Total? Basically, what she wants to know is, girl, you shut the door on one group to come to do this? We was already a super group. What are you doing? I get if you was trying to go solo, but we don't understand what you're doing right now, okay? Pam says, God told me to do it. She's got her Bible in her hand. The Lord said, okay. She tells her God told her to do it and she on assignment. Kima reveals that Pam, now y'all get into this because this is our second Beyonce reference. Kima reveals that Pam told the group Total that she was the Beyonce and they was the Destiny's Child. Did God tell you that? Now, I just want to know, do y'all agree? Was Pam the Beyonce of Total? Was she? I don't. Now I remember she was kind of in the front, right? I remember she was in the front, and she might have been in the middle a lot. And she might have been singing a lot. But I don't know if she was the Beyonce. I don't know. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to take away from any of Pam's talents and abilities because I love her voice. even when we first started talking about this show, I was saying that Pam had a voice that could be definitely a lead vocal because it's so distinct. But Beyonce, okay, I honestly thought it was Keisha that was sort of like, that's just me. I just thought it was Keisha. And y'all can, drag me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was Keisha. Okay. I thought it was Keisha. But I agree with you. They were a group that mixed very well with their vocals. And it seemed as though Pam and Keisha took a lot of the lead parts. I don't really remember what Kima did, but I see that Kima provides great support. Okay. That's what I can say. Meanwhile, I wrote down in my notes, it sounds like Kima is ready to have Total make some guap and start touring. But Pam ain't feeling it, and her family doesn't understand her decisions either. Suddenly, it's turned into maybe Pam. This is so weird to me. Pam says maybe the reason why she's here in this group was to see Kima. Well, I guess if you think about it in that regard, it did get Kima to see you, and it did help y'all speak for the first time in 4 years. But that's only because Kima decided to support you and not because you invited her. Okay. Unless there was something that I didn't see. Anyway, maybe God did it. I don't know. Won't he do it? Won't he do it though? Won't he do it? Anyway, Stone goes to see Aubrey and goes to chat about where she is. And Aubrey doesn't feel like any of this is worth any of the sickness that she's facing. Poor girl. Irish starts, okay, so this is crazy, okay? Mila is over there complimenting Irish and Misha, like, girls, it's so good to see y'all. The music sounded so good. Ooh, I just want to wrap my fingers around y'all, okay? And Mila is funny to me. I could, honestly, I could have taken Mila in this group because Mila got some personality on her, okay? And it's a likable one, all right? So anyway, but Irish starts complaining about how little she was able to sing on the track, especially compared to Shamari. Well, girl, your voices are different, okay? Let's call a thing. Your vocals are different. It sounds like Shamari been singing since she left Black, okay? Shamari sounds like she been singing since she left the womb up until this very moment. You, Irish, sound like you had stopped singing when you left 702, and you didn't open your mouth again until you got here, okay? And that's no shade. That is just about talking about vocal training and vocal ability, okay? That is not a knock on her. That is just the truth of the matter of what it sounds like. But I digress, okay? And Mila is like, no, wait a minute now. I didn't come here for all this. I just came to dance, and that's it. I did not come for these shenanigans. That's why I left y'all in the first place, okay? Because here y'all go yet again. Back to arguing, back to not getting what you want, back to not getting your due. But Mila handled it well. She was looking, the look on her face was like, oh no, not again. I didn't come here for this. I came to support and support only. And she's trying to tell Irish, well, girl, y'all sounded good. I couldn't even tell that you only had 4 lines. I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell at all, okay? She's trying to keep it positive, but the look on her face said, girl, get me out of here, okay? So Misha then confesses, okay, to Keely and Shamari and Pam that Irish is not happy with the amount of parts she's singing. But this is where things get even juicier. But then Misha is like, Irish ain't always present when it's time to work. And if she's going to be honest about everybody else, then she's got to be honest about Irish too. Now, this is new. This is new. Misha is now critiquing her own sister about not doing enough. And I don't know whether to be proud or to laugh, okay? Because I don't know. Because earlier on, it looked like every time we saw Misha, she was laying in the bed. But now it turns out apparently what we haven't been seeing is Irish laying in the bed, okay? Aubrey is now in another confessional. She's tired of being bossed around and how she's upset about not being utilized for her creativity. And she decides to make a grown woman decision and leave. And honestly, her departure was less dramatic than her taking the bed off of the frame and leaving the twigs on there. Okay. I felt like for all this, I needed a bigger dramatic departure than this. She just drove off. I mean, it was 2 seconds. She drove off in the little minivan and was gone into the night. I guess at that point she had left and went to the bar. Okay, gone girl. She out. Okay. So anyway, Keely is looking for Aubrey the next day as if she really cares. Okay. Nivea hasn't seen her at all. All of her stuff is gone. Nivea says she thought that she would be the one leaving the house, and she wonders, can anybody just leave? And apparently they're almost at the end of this whole situation, so why leave now? Anyway, let me say something about Aubrey leaving, though, real quick. I really don't respect that decision, but what I do say is this. It would be better for her to leave than for her to continuously be a thorn in the side of the creative process. Because, you know, one bad apple can spoil a tree or spoil a bunch, as they say. And so it's better because a rotten apple will always fall. Remember that. A rotten apple will always fall. And I'm not saying that Aubrey is rotten on the inside, but I just think that what she was doing and the way that she felt was toxic for the overall group. It was probably toxic for her, but it was also toxic for the group, and it would have been better that she did leave. So in that regard, I do respect it. You know what I'm saying? Best to go ahead and get up out of there, because if it is upsetting your mental, then ain't nothing worth your mental peace. So girl, bye, go, and just take a breather, take a moment, and regroup yourself and do something else, okay? Because this ain't it. All right. Anyway, Pam is freaking out because Aubrey left. Keely is all about the business of getting the vocals redone, because honestly and truthfully, it's got to be done. We got to get all her vocals off the songs. It don't sound like it's that much work, but they got to get it done. Misha is frustrated and doesn't realize that Aubrey wasn't happy, and Menthol Misha is smoking again. I am so frustrated about this. And we talked to Cinnamon, and Cinnamon did tell us that she had told some of them girls about smoking while they was in the house because it is going to affect their vocals. And the reason why it upsets me so much that it's Misha is because she also needs some vocal work, okay? So adding to the fact that she needs vocal work and she is puffing and a puffing and a puffing on them cigs is making me so irate, because she has so much to say about how little she's getting, and she is not doing everything in her power to actually improve the gift that God has given her. Okay. It just burns my biscuits, y'all. It chaps my butt. It does. Anyway, Fallon don't care that Aubrey's gone, and she feels like Aubrey's being dramatic and she's not falling for it. Nivea takes her vocals in the song Talking, and they start talking. And she's taking Aubrey's leaving especially hard. Shamari actually enjoyed Aubrey. Felicia, though, is ready for another battle, because now that they done got rid of Aubrey, they got a new target. And that new target is Kosine, okay? And I almost feel like it seemed like the twins just decide who it is that they want to. What I feel almost like is if anybody challenges the twins, they decide to take them out. They took out Aubrey easily, okay? Well, not easily, but somewhat. They tried to take on Misha, but Misha is a little bit more of a difficult target to take down, okay? It seems like next they have decided to take out Kosine, okay? Because he seems like the next threat to them completely owning the recording process. So that's my assessment of what happens next. But we're going to get into it because I don't know if I missed something or not, okay? And I want y'all to tell me if you feel like I missed a detail. So, Felisha feels like Kosine, she's been doing Kosine's job. Kosine, Aaliyah, the choreographer, and Cinnamon, the vocal coach, show up and they update them that Aubrey has left. Aaliyah says that she needs the song "Go Don't Leave" so she can choreograph it. Felisha asked the producers to play "Bird's Eye View," and Felisha gets snippy with Kosine for stopping the song. Now I don't know why he stopped the song, but she gets snippy with him, and she's like, "Did I ask you to stop the song?" And so I wrote, the tensions are already rising because she really wants her versions of the song used versus his version. And she's being, to me, what seems mad disrespectful. And I don't know if it was editing and it was something that I missed, but from the version that I saw on the screen, it really didn't look like he did much to her for her to really begin snapping on him like crazy. Okay. Okay, Miss Jazzy J says he stopped because it wasn't his version. Okay. So clearly he was confused about which version they wanted to use. But even still, it would have been better for her to have a side conversation with him and say, listen, this is the version that we want to use. Let's go with this one. And then we'll work from that one from here on out. But regardless, it just felt super disrespectful to me, the way she was speaking to him. And then he asked, something happens when they're listening to the song, and he asked Shamari if she was thrown off during the playback of the song. Felisha asked him if he thinks that she gives an F about her being thrown off. And I wrote down in my notes, you can always get more bees with honey. You know, the twins seem to like to take everything by force. And sometimes you can get more in life with finesse, okay? There's a difference, and there's a big difference between force and finesse. I was going to tell y'all a little story, but I'm going to save it for another day. But what I will say is this. They always seem to go on the attack when they feel the least bit threatened, when in reality, they could get more out of life and out of the people around them by operating from a standpoint of finesse. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody has it, but it's not that hard to utilize, okay? They get into a debate about who's doing the work and who's not, and he tells her to relax. Now, Keely views him telling her to relax as toxic masculinity. Now, I'm not a woman, okay? So I can only speak from the perspective of a man who tries to be very sensitive to and tries to be a feminist as well, right? Because guys can be feminists in the support of women. But I still didn't get how he was being toxic by telling her to relax, because she was being disrespectful to him. Versus just coming out and saying what the group wanted, she chose to come at him in a way that was kind of mean and nasty. And it just seemed like Keely was just jumping on their bandwagon for some odd reason. He says he's the producer in this house, and this is where things go wrong. And then Felisha says she's the producer in this house. So then Keely jumps in on the argument and basically goes to bat for Felisha. Now they all go at it about who's the producer. And at this point in time, Aaliyah, I don't know if you guys heard this, tried to give Kosine, she tried to go to bat for Kosine a little bit, but she ended up just leaving because she was like, this ain't my fight, okay? This ain't my fight. Felisha basically lets Kosine know that he's a chauvinistic bastard. Now, again, I'm willing to concede that I didn't see everything that he said, but I feel like Elijah went harder at Aubrey than Kosine went at Felisha. And I definitely feel like Felisha was going harder at Kosine than Aubrey ever went at Elijah. But nobody came to Aubrey's defense because they didn't like her. And they definitely didn't call what Elijah did toxic masculinity. So I guess I'm just trying to understand. It works for them when they want it to work for them. And I don't like that. If I felt like Kosine was being ultra disrespectful or mad disrespectful, I would say it. Maybe he wasn't, maybe he did make some mistakes. Maybe he wasn't working as hard as he needed to, but I feel like that's a different conversation than the one that we were seeing from Felisha. I will readily admit, I think that Felisha and Fallon are super talented. I really do. I think that they can probably produce and write the heck out of some albums and some anthems and some bops. But ultimately, it is their attitude that to me is going to be their downfall. And I don't want to see that, because I do believe that there's a place in this industry for this type of music that they make, what they do, and for them to really succeed. But they're going to have to really manage their attitudes, because that's not going to work outside of the confines of this house. I guarantee you that. Okay. I do think they're talented. When I listen to the songs that they've written, I've listened to, what they've been able to do in the house. I do think that they're talented. I think they have a great ear for music. But again, the attitude is just hella stank, man. It's not the business. It's not cute, And you're right, Darnell, they turn everything into an argument. Any discussion, it turns into an argument. And then the bad thing about it is, when you see them on social media, they blame editing. And it's like, it can't be all editing. Not every single episode. It can't be. It can't be. Some of this you gotta own. I would rather you just own what you do and call it a thing. Yeah, we did it. That's how I felt in the moment. I would rather you stand 10 toes down in it. But don't get on social media and then blame editing for making you look bad, because it won't the editing. It definitely won't the editing. Okay. So now that Aubrey's out the house, and now that they have a new victim, Kosine, it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight, because we're going to get the finale of that argument, and then that's going to spin into some more arguments with some of the other ladies. Oh, you just waiting to see, because the preview giving us a lot. Okay. And that's that. With that being said, guys, thank you for tuning into this review. Y'all know I have so much fun with it. Despite the fact that we talk about all the ladies, I love each of them, and I feel like they are bringing it. And this show gives me everything that I need. It gives me chills just thinking about how good it is, and I love all of them for it. We are going to do a Love and Marriage Huntsville review in about 45 minutes. For those of you guys who are into Love and Marriage Huntsville, because it was a really good episode. So I want to recap that, because I made a commitment to myself that I would do it once I got back and once I was feeling better. So in about 45 minutes, we'll get down to business with that. And then tonight, guys, the Encore comes back on for episode 7, I believe. Yeah, so for episode 7, Beverly Hills comes on tonight. That's going to be good too. So make sure you guys come back if you can in 45 minutes, and we'll go over our Love and Marriage Huntsville. I just need to get some water or some tea from my voice, and then we'll be right back. All right. I will catch you guys. Yeah. That is true. Claire says the Impressive channel has a short documentary on Cherish. Definitely go watch that. I love everything that Impressive does. I think great documentaries over there on a lot of your favorite artists. So definitely check that out as well. Thank you for that, Claire. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I would love to have you here, and I will catch you guys in the next video in about 45 minutes.